So hello, this video tutorial is just to explain how to do the Nube eyeshadow. This is only for eyes. It's not the rest of your face. Like, it's still missing the pink blush, your red lipstick, your liquid foundation, setting powder, any other details I'd explained previously. But this is only for eyeshadow and how to do the eyeshadow. Please tune in. I do go in depth about how to apply the eyeshadow. This side is a little bit more simpler. This side is a little bit more advanced. But either way, it still creates the same effect. You essentially still want to have pink in the crease, purple out here, and gold on the lid. That is essentially how you're going to be doing your Nube makeup. Another big thing too is you will be required to fill in your brows, so definitely stay tuned to that, and I explain how to do that. And then without further ado, please enjoy this video. You're welcome to fast forward through any parts if you feel like it, but hopefully this video is helpful to you. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fill in your brows. What we'll do is I'll have one side being a little bit simpler and then the other side a little bit more advanced, but the concept is still the same. So what you're going to want to do is, after you've already primed your face, you're going to want to get into a brow powder. So this is just by Benefit. Any brow powder will work, and then you want to get a brush that has an angle and a spoolie. Any brow powder works. Also have concealer. So if you have not done your brows, or if your daughter has not done her brows, that is fine. You can just fill them in using brow powder. You want to have some definition because on stage it will look really good. And so what I like to do is I like to fill in the brow with brow powder. I kind of like to follow where the hairs are growing, if that makes sense. So like my hairs are growing downward, I like to draw the brush in that direction. I also like to draw a line underneath the brow and fill in right below the brow and follow the direction of my hairs. You definitely do not need to have your brows done for Folklorico. However, using brow powder and concealer makes that much of a difference. Therefore, you are required to have your brows filled in with powder, at least. You're welcome to use other brow products like a brow pencil, brow gel, brow pomade, which I'm about to show on the other eyebrow. But you need to have some sort of definition. It will really help complete the look. If you decide you don't want to do a brow pomade, you can go ahead and fast forward, but I'm going to show how to use this particular product. So this particular product, it's kind of like a gel, or like a cream product that you apply in brows. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills No. 12 brush. This is just an angled brush. It's a little dirty, sorry, but it does have a spoolie, which is nice. This product, it's a little bit kind of like a gel. I don't know if you can tell, but when I draw it on my hand, it goes on like that. So it's very different than a brow powder. You don't have to have this product or a pomade like product. Brow powder is fine, but for those of you who have that or want to try it, here's how I do it. So I like to brush through the hairs, and then I like to, as I was doing before, draw or basically apply the product in the direction of the hair growth. So my hairs kind of grow like that, and then as they go outward, they go toward the edge of my face, if that makes sense. And then I like to fill in slowly because this product, it is a little bit darker, it is a little bit more dense, so it will be much more defined than this side, but that's totally fine. This is just for those of you who are interested in this product or have wanting to learn how to use this kind of product. That's why I'm providing it in this video. This product is really nice just because it is, at least by Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Dip Brow Pomade. I'm using the one by Benefit, that's the Kabrow. But I believe they're a little bit more waterproof than a powder, but ultimately it is up to you about what which brow product you want to use. The next step is the same for both. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab some concealer. Your concealer is important. Your concealer can be used for a lot of different things on your eyes. I'm just using the LA Girl Pro-conceal. This is only $5 at Ulta. This concealer that you use can be used to clean your brows as your eyeshadow primer, so the pink is very bright. And it could also be used for your face when you, after you do your foundation, you apply it here, 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 blend it out. That way those parts of your face look a lot brighter. So having one concealer that you use for a lot of different things is very important. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna take it. I like to put some on the back of my hand. You're welcome to use the brush applicator or any other applicator, but this is essentially what you're gonna wanna do. So I'll be using the Morphe B41 brush. It's just a flat concealer brush. I like to use that brush for a lot of different things. I like to dip into the product, and for both brows, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna want to kind of clean underneath. And this is what I mean where you don't have to have your brows done, but if you just clean with concealer like this, you make it very defined. And if the top is still very bushy, you can go over the top as well and kind of carve out the shape, if that makes sense. By doing this with concealer, you define only that part of the brow and it looks like they've had their brows done, even though their brows are still very full, which is fine. So you definitely don't have to do your brows. You don't have to get them plucked, don't have to get them waxed. You just need concealer and brow powder. And then the same thing, I'm gonna go on the other side and do the same thing. And what you also want to do is, because we're going to be using that concealer as a base, you're going to want to apply it to your lid. So essentially what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab another brush. This is definitely, you do not need this brush. This is the Morphe M173. I just like to use it to blend out the concealer I've done. And I also like to use another concealer brush. Just personal preference. This is just a flat oval one. I forgot the number. Oh, this is the M224. And I just like to, honestly, any concealer brush works. I'm just a big fan of Morphe. And I like to clean underneath, kind of blend out the top. That way it kind of is seamless and it doesn't look like I have concealer. You're also welcome to use any other eyeshadow bases. I know NYX has one, Morphe has one. You're welcome to do that. I'm just saying if you want to save money, you might as well use the concealer that you bought. That way it can be used for many different things and you don't have to worry about buying multiple products and you just have one product that you use for a lot of different things. So essentially for this step, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna wanna get some tape. Tape is really helpful if you don't want your wings to look wonky. So this is for like your liquid eyeliner. This helps me make sure my wings are nice and straight. I just like to put it right here at the edge of my eye. I don't know if you guys can see. And it goes all the way to the edge of my brow. That way my eyes have a more like lifted look. And this kind of helps me keep the eyeliner straight. If you know how to do eyeliner on your own, you definitely do not have to do this step. This step is optional, not required, but helpful. I definitely recommend doing the tape step, all of this step, your eyeshadow first before your base. That way if you get any fallout, you can remove it. So for your eyeshadows, for Folklorico, you're going to want to use the shades that we recommended. We created a document. Hopefully you guys had access to it. But essentially the shades are Orchid by Morphe, it's this pink shade, and then Crushed Grape by Benai, so this is that big shade. And then the gold shade, I don't have the gold, it's the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Wild Gold, but I have this other shade by Morphe, it's called Starlight. It's also the same price as the pink one. This one is also another good one to have as well. This container is really nice. It was $2 at Sephora. You just buy the container, don't buy like the additions to the palette. You just buy the container by itself, and it's nice because it's magnetic and it has a mirror. So essentially what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to dip into the pink shade. Okay, make sure you get a lot on there and then tap off the excess. And essentially what you're going to want to do is you're going to want, I'm going to get a little closer to the camera. You're going to want to pack it on. you really want to pat it on there. You want it to be as pigmented as it is in the pan, if that makes sense. And then as you pack it on, you're going to move your brush in circular motions and move it into the crease area. I like to bring it on this part, bring it in a little bit, and then work my way outward like this. And I like to do kind of windshield wiper motions, but also circular motions, and you just keep going. Keep adding the pink. Keep going, don't stop. So this is our purple shade. Ben Nye Crushed Grape, you're going to want to dip in there. Pack the brush. This is the Morphe M332. It's actually one of my favorites and the one that I always come back to. So if anything, if you go to Morphe and buy 2 brushes, I'd say these 2 are the ones you buy. Essentially what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pack, as we were doing before, pack and pat the purple on the outside part and then go in circular motions to build up the color. And you want to go back and forth of getting color from the pan and going into the outer V. So this part of your eye is called the outer V, the outside part. And you're going to want to build that pink there because we want to have a smoky effect. We want there to be pink and then it gets darker outside to have that kind of smoked out look, if that makes sense. And I like to also bring it in here. And then once I feel like it's concentrated enough, I like to bring it into the crease. And you want to make sure you can still see the pink. If you feel like the pink was lost when you're applying the purple, you are welcome to go back and add more pink. But you should still see pink and purple. You don't want to see only purple or only pink. And then once you feel like the purple is intense enough, the pink is intense enough, that is where we're going to apply our gold. There are a couple different ways. I'm going to show you the first way, the easy way, and then the little bit more advanced way, but I personally prefer this way. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab your flat brush. This is the Morphe M167. You can get setting spray. You can also get water, and you're going to spray the brush. I barely have any on here. I'm running out of setting spray. But essentially what you're going to want to do is dip into our gold. This is, again, Starlight by Morphe. You can order the shade with the pink shade. Definitely do recommend if you can't find the Maybelline Color Tattoo at your nearest drugstore. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pack the gold onto your lid. Pat and drag, pat and drag. As you can see, by wetting the brush, it helps the gold stick onto your lids. But we want to see that there is gold on your lid. And we want it to be very apparent. We don't want the gold to be lost. We don't want it to be too light. It needs to be gold just like this, a bright yellow gold. And as you can see, the transition between the pink and the purple can get a little bit messy. So what I like to do is, again, go in with the brush you used for the purple. And so I don't get that harsh kind of line, I just like take the brush and go back and forth, just like this. That way it's more of a seamless transition instead of it being very harsh and not obvious that like there's clearly a difference. So this is one way that you can apply the gold. You can spray the brush, wet the brush, apply it this way. Another way to do it is, again, to use the same concealer that we had, and I'm going to cut the crease. That is the fancy way of saying I am going to kind of draw where I'm going to apply the gold first. I'm just going to put some on the back of my hand again. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw where I'm going to be applying the gold first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a concealer brush, kind of flat. This is the Lancome concealer brush in their number 8 brush. What I like to do is where you see where I have drawn, kind of almost drew the gold on with the brush, I'm going to take the concealer and kind of draw where I want the gold to be. And then I apply underneath. This gives something for the gold to stick to, and it also helps it be very bright and pigmented. This is optional, definitely not required, but just another way to do it if you are interested in doing it this way. But essentially, this is what I mean by cutting the crease. You have essentially drawn concealer where you're going to apply the gold. Then you're going to go in with the same flat brush, right? The Morphe M167. Then you're going to dip into the gold and apply the gold only where you have the concealer. This kind of helps the gold stick to the lid better. It helps it stay. This is my favorite method as well. And as you can see, the effect is the same. Either option is available to you. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to go into our eyeliner. Essentially, for this step, you will need a liquid liner. Any sort of liquid liner works. I'm going to be using the NYX Matte Liquid Liner in the shade... Does it have a shade name? Yes, just literally black. What I like to do is I like to dip into this liquid liner and I kind of like to draw from where the eye kind of begins all the way out, and then I like to draw the inner part of my eyeliner. Essentially, the wing you want to create is going to be a medium length wing, medium thickness and medium length. Okay, and then same thing on the other side. And then once you feel like the wings are complete, you can go ahead and remove said tape. This is definitely optional to use tape, but I find it very helpful. Essentially, you kind of have like your wings. Okay, so for our next step, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a pencil liner. Any pencil eyeliner will do. Essentially, you need it to be white. You don't want it to be like a shimmery white, you just want it to be white. Sometimes if you feel like it's dirty, you can clean it on the back of your hand, just like so. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pull down. I'll get a little close to the camera for this. You're going to want to pull down your eyes and put it right there. That is called your waterline. That is where you apply the white, and you want it to be very pigmented. You want it to be bright. This step will make your eyes look a lot bigger. So once that is complete, you're going to again go in with your liquid liner. It's a little bit trickier to do this step. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. I still mess this up all the time. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna get close, right? Try to go like this. You're gonna wanna draw a line going outward. Ooh, a little scary. You're gonna wanna draw a line going outward. It kind of connects to where like your bottom lash line is, and you're just gonna wanna extend that out. And extend it out, okay. Whew. Now what you're gonna wanna do is work your way in and draw the line underneath. And then now for our final step, well, not even final, we're still not done. You're gonna wanna take that same white and you're gonna wanna put it right in between. That way it creates a very lifted stage look. On stage, this looks really good with stage lighting. I'm gonna do it just like that. Now what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna get a mascara and a mascara curler or an eyelash curler. Again, you do not need an eyelash curler for this step. I just like to have one for me. So that's something I like to do, just curl my lashes a little bit. Then I apply my mascara. It's helpful to have a mirror below you so you can see. And essentially I like to just wiggle the product into my lashes. And the same thing, I like to add it to the bottom lashes. Essentially, the lashes you're going to want to use are some that are very big and very large. The bigger, the better. I use these. These are the Ardell Faux Mink lashes, and these are kind of nice because they are really full and very large. Essentially, what you're going to want to do is grab some sort of lash glue. The Duo glue is the best glue. You do not need to spend a lot of money on lash glue. You're going to grab your first lash. Essentially, what I like to do is I like to coat the lash with some lash glue. This lash glue applicator is actually very helpful to use. You want to put on a lot, and then you're going to want to wait a little while. That way the glue can get a little tacky before you apply the lash. And you can blow on it, you can wave it around, wait a little while, but it is helpful to have a mirror underneath when you apply the lash. And essentially you're going to grab the lash from the middle of the lash, and you're going to want to apply it, like put it on the middle first, as close to the lash line as possible. Then you apply the outer parts, then you apply the inner part. And you kind of push on the lash. You can also squeeze the lash between your actual lash and the false one. And you're gonna wanna stick it right on there. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my lips off camera. I might even add a little bit more life to my face, and then I'll be right back. So this is the completed eyeshadow look. This is only eyeshadow only. Essentially, you still want to have the pink, the gold, you want to have fluffy lashes, white, then the black, and then obviously this video is still missing your pink blush, your liquid foundation, applying that with a beauty blender, having concealer. You're welcome to use bronzer to warm up the face. However, you must have more pink on your cheeks than brown or contour or anything like that. You want to have bright cheeks, and you want to have a red lip. Make sure the red lip is a bold red, like a stop sign, and not like a dark red, not a maroon red. It needs to just be red. So essentially, thank you again for tuning into this video. I was happy to have done this for you guys. Hopefully this was helpful, and have a great annual show. Best of luck. I know you guys are going to do great. This performance, the dancing, the makeup, everything will look great and wonderful, so have fun. Good luck, and good luck from me at UCI. All right, thanks guys.